Hello, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining me. Today we're looking at this Alba CP3 personal cassette player, and it came as part of a job lot. I think there were 8 different Walkman type cassette players in a bulk box that I bought from eBay recently, so do check out the video on the unboxing of some of those. Now this particular one, on the face of it, should be quite nice. It's got the original box here, as you can see, in pretty good condition, and also you may remember from the original video that we've got the headphones here. It's rather dusty, but we'll forgive it that. It's 40 years old. And the player is here. As I say, we've got the headphones. They look very Sanyo in style of that period. I don't know whether or not they work, but they were bundled with the box. So here we go then. We've got this Alba cassette player. Very simple. Literally just got play, stop and fast forward. Not even a sprung door, it just clips open like so and snaps into place. Battery cover's present though, and the batteries are still in it actually, so that's right, I remember now from the review we did the other day, or the unboxing, that it works to a degree. It plays, let's just see. Oh, right. So it sounds like there might be a loose connection on the batteries, but also if you listen, there's something jangling around in there, and that's not a good sound. So let's take a look, shall we, see what's in there. As I say, I remember when I first opened this, commenting on the unboxing video that was a bit dodgy, and there we go. There's the sound. Oh, it stopped again. I don't know if the batteries might be on their way out potentially. Either way, the spindle's not turning, so the belt's probably off. Anyways, I'm just looking down there to see the state of the battery contacts, and they don't look too bad, it has to be said. There has been some sort of leakage in there, so some sort of crystalline battery residue might be rattling around in there. But in any event, let's just see if we can get this working, shall we? To be honest, I've been dying to find out what's in here, so this will be quite good fun. It's only a cheap player, there's nothing to it. I mean, Alba were cheap at the best of times, and suffice it to say, the quality hasn't improved since then. And I don't even know if I'm going to get the back off of this. There's two screws here that seem to be okay. Rather long. I doubt this is going to be a very complicated bit of kit. Come on. Oh, it doesn't want to come out. Right, okay, what have we got here? So there are some other screws as well, and I'm just going to go for it. 2 screws on the side. Generally try and stay away from the side screws on them, because they tend to hold the hinges on and stuff like that. There we go, like so. That's just held the lid. Right, okay. Okay. There you go, that's what's rattling around. Not sure yet what it is, but what I do know is that it shouldn't be rattling around. Anyways, in any event, there's the hinge mechanism. It literally is just that bit of plastic. Couldn't be cheaper, gotta be honest. Yeah, you get bits of chicken delivered in plastic that's thicker than that, to be honest. Right, anyway, there we go. So what do we do? Problem I've got is the screw I actually wanted to undo is here, but it seems really there it goes. Seems really tight. Okie dokie. So now we should be able to get access to the mech proper. Oh, great. Okay, so it's one of these. Yeah. Okay, I'm huffing and puffing and sighing a bit now because there's 2 belts. Yes, they're loose. Yeah, that one's really loose. Another belt underneath. Again, neither of those would be difficult to replace, but it's that bit of plastic. Now, let's see if we can get to these a minute. So we're just going to open this and peel it away a little bit. Will it come away? Right, what's broken? What's broken off of that? Trying to see, obviously there's part of the mechanism somehow is broken on this. Oh dear oh me. Right, what is it though? What is it? Where's that from? I don't really want to get everything away if I can help it. Basically we've got a leaf switch down there which could unscrew potentially, or we can just desolder everything because the motor, yeah, might just desolder these because the motor cables come through there, and then that's what ultimately allows us to peel it back, change the belts, and that should be really easy, because I want you to see how ridiculously stupid and cheap this mechanism is. I mean, if ever there was a cheap mechanism, I've literally, you could 3D print this these days. But it seems to work, and at the moment I'm slightly confused as to what that little white piece is. So I'm inclined just to try and take it apart, replace the belts, and see if we can get it working anyway. Okay, let's be a bit more positive about this, shall we? So what I'm just going to do here is desolder the connections, and I reckon these ones should do. Incidentally, there's a heck of a mess. That looks grotty as you like. Obviously been quite bad battery leakage just there. But in any event, I'm going to desolder the motor and one of the leaf switch contacts from the board. I just want to check in. Yeah, pretty sure that's the motor one. Got two red ones. I just wanted to make sure which one's which, because all three of those can come through there. Should allow me to peel that back. Okay guys, there we go. It would take an absolute eternity to recap that one, wouldn't it? But LAG 665, yeah, is that like a Sanyo? I don't think it's a Sanyo chip. The LAs generally are though. We've got a variable resistor there, whether that's output level for the tape. Yeah, just generally looks bad. But anyway, yeah, look. So there's your little motor, a massive little motor there. Your two belts are okay. Right, hang on, we'll come back to that in a second. So here's your mechanism, which I think might actually be all right. But thinking about it now, is that's the clutch spindle, and I think, I don't know where that little that pulley's gone. I'm gonna have to find that pulley. Gonna find that little pulley now. I don't know where I've put that white one. It's disappeared on the Towel of Destiny, but I reckon that locks onto the back of the pulley there and stops that from coming loose and provides the traction on playback. I think that's what that is. Yeah, I really need to try and find that, because if I can't find it, the rest of it's going to be pretty pointless, I think. There it is. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. These belts have had it. There's your top one. Oops. And the bottom one runs. Yeah, that's fine. Come on. So this should be, if you were a regular servicer of one of these, and I doubt, to be honest, that this particular model, being as cheap as it was, I think most of these would have just worked until they didn't, and then probably just got thrown away. They would have been as cheap as they came. But should you have been in a position to want to service these, it literally would have been a case of just popping those 3 screws out of the back and really just desoldering 3 cables, replacing these 2 little belts and reversing it. But obviously we're just having a bit of a play here, seeing what's what, and I'm pretty confident that that is the clutch pin that would have gone over there. But would it have gone that way? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, well, let's find some belts. I've got 2 belts here that need to be replaced, so let's get these on, and then we'll just see if we can get it working from there. And I almost invariably use precision square cut belts for all my repairs, all the boomboxes, Walkmans, that kind of stuff. But this is literally about as cheap as you're going to get, and I'm no word of a lie, 1 belt, let alone 2, would cost more than this unit's worth, even when it's been repaired. So as we're just trying to get it to work, I'm just going to try and dig out. Here's a small selection. I use the small round ones. I've got bags of large ones, flat belts, large and small, all sorts of stuff. But I should be able to find a couple in here that'll at least get this up and running, just to see whether or not it works. And just to add there, the whole point of course being, if we can salvage it, then that'll be great. Someone can enjoy this just for, you know, for the sake of a few pounds. And if you're looking for something that hasn't got any wow and flutter, you sure as heck wouldn't be in the market for spending a £5 on one of these. Okay, well, I've had a fish through, and I think I've found a couple of belts that might work. So I'm going to try and get them on. And the beauty is, with something as cheap as this, we'll just have a bit of a play around and see if we can get any of them to work to any degree. This could be a little bit fiddly. Right. Okay, that seems like it might work. Potentially. And then this one onto there. So in theory we've got this whole thing working. If I just spin that, you'll see that spindle turning. I think we've got it. Obviously this is such a cheap lightweight mechanism that we don't want to put too much drag on it. We don't want to pin it down more than we have to, but also want to make sure there's enough bite there so that it is working. Right, next stage then. Solder these wires back on and give it a test, I suppose. It appears like this whole thing's got an inherent amount of movement anyway, so who knows. So I'm just going to put a tiny little dab of lacquer on the back of this, rightly or wrongly, but it might just stop it from popping off. Yeah, that headphone socket looks pretty nasty as well. It's all corroded in there, but again, what do? Clean it up, I suppose. I don't dare reflow it. I think if I reflow all of that, it will just fall apart, and that might be the end of it. So I think I'm going to let sleeping dogs lie. Just going to twist these motor cables together so that when they go through we know which one's which. There we go. Don't know, what do you reckon? What do we reckon? Well, it's running. Seems to be running nice and smooth. So on that basis, I'll clean the head as well, and that heavy duty capstan. not. And the flywheel, sorry, not the flywheel, the pinch roller. Whoops, they see the batteries have just popped out. To be honest, it's just like surface rubber coming off of that. There's I don't think it's had a lot of use, to be honest, really. Oh, bloody hell, bells, man. There's a spring. Right, there it is. What did I say to you? I said there was a lot of play in this. Right, has it set? Not yet. Good. Spring just fell out. Little spring just randomly fell out. Now, that should be the spring that backs onto the clutch. But that didn't present itself until we had it all apart. Well, anyways. Okay, going to put a dab of super glue on that as well. But that spring can't go underneath. There's a bit of a crack on that pulley, that's all. But I don't think that spring can go anywhere else. They normally live under the clip, under the little plastic seat. So I'm pretty sure that's the right place for it. So that clutch should work now. That all works. That's tickety-boo, I believe. Right, does it sound though? We don't know if we've got any sound out of this yet, do we? So how's about then we hook up some speakers. Just got some little Sanyo JSX39s. And I'll put that in there. I'll put a tape in. Is that completely bent? Should that not be? Don't know. We'll figure this out when we put it back together, I suppose. Right, well, it's playing. Oh, darn it! Lost the power. But good news is, oh, hang on. There you go, the batteries. Do you know what? I think that's working. I think it's working enough so that we can decide to put the thing back together again. Oh, tapes fell out. Right, okay. Good. So, it's just nasty. That screw wouldn't even come out. Right, okay. Okay, so what do we think? Is that in? Oh, I just don't know. I think that's in. Well, who knows? Right, something like that. Do you know what? Sometimes with these things, you've just got to kind of just do it. But we'll give this a go. That screw's really long. Right, hang on then. So we had the longer countersunk screw that goes in here. And the hinge screws, the tiny countersunk screws just here. There's one. Like I say, I've got no idea. It actually sounded alright, just believe it or not. But right, so that's that. That's that. Well, all that remains then is to give this another test. So here we go. Get these batteries back in. the battery cover on so it doesn't pop back out. Then we've got a tape in here, like so. Speakers to be plugged into the headphone socket just there. Volume turned down. Press play now. And what happens? There we go. That's the end of the track anyway. And fast forward and play. Do you know what? I think we've sorted that. And fast forward, play, and I'll turn it over, put you in there. And also we did adjust that little retaining spring, so we can bend it back slightly just so as we've got the correct pressure. Well, do you know what? The headphones are good now. The volume doesn't crackle. And it sounds alright, you know. Well, by Jove, I think we've sorted that. So I'm going to give this a clean, just sort of internally, give the case a clean and a polish, and then we'll have, I don't know, for what it's worth, some sort of final reveal. So here it is then, the Alba CP3 personal stereo cassette player. Well, I have to say, guys and girls, it's not what I expected. This came as part of a consignment with the box and the headphones, and I thought, yeah, this is really going to be proper nasty. And to be fair, it kind of was to start with. It was rattling around, and the belts had obviously slipped as well and got, you know, too big and misshapen, would have sounded awful even if it was working. Of course, it wasn't working because the clutch had come apart. This is what the rattling was. So we managed to find the parts there, the back nut and the spring, and we've got those back on and sealed them in place. Replaced both the belts, cleaned the head, cleaned the capstan, the pinch roller, given the casing a decent polish, cleaned up the circuit board, that was a bit grotty as well. And I've got to say, I thought I was polishing the proverbial you-know-what, to be fair, and I really didn't expect much of this, and I've got to say, I've been genuinely surprised and quite delighted by this cheap and, dare I say, nasty little thing. It's actually pretty cool. So all those comments I made earlier on about using cheap belts and, you know, barely being worth a fiver, I kind of take it back in some respects, because it's actually surprisingly okay. Now the headphones are here. They're slightly squiffy on the jack. It's kind of a little bit intermittent, so at some point I may or may not decide to go ahead and put a new mini jack on that, or at least we just keep them with the set as they are, because they look pretty cool. But I've just been having a quick listen just to make sure everything's okay with these other headphones, which again aren't expensive. They came, I think, as part of a consignment as well. So I'm just going to plug this in now, put a tape in here, see what happens. That's come to the end of the track, so I'm just going to turn it over as well, just to see if it works okay, and we'll do that as well. And incidentally, the fast forward is working nicely. So I've just got these literally playing through the headphones just here, and you can hear the volume control isn't crackly or anything like that. And I've got to say, it might even sound a bit distorted there, because it really is driving those headphones. There's some considerable power. Yeah, alright, cool. I'm pleased with that, actually. So as you can see, it's working fine. It's fast forwarding, it's stopping, it's playing, it's doing what it needs to do. The hinge is fine on the lid. Comes with the original box. Original headphones that just need a little bit of work, but actually they're okay. The foams are intact. Had new belts, bit of a service. Job done. So there we go. That's one out of the box sorted that I honestly didn't think I'd be able to salvage. And I'm glad I did, to be fair, because it might be cheap and cheerful, but someone can make use of this now. So that's another one saved. Happy days. Pleased with that. Thanks ever so much for watching. Do check out some of my other videos. I'll have a bunch more Walkmans out of the magic box that arrived, and I've got boom boxes and all sorts of other stuff on the channel as well, so do check those out. I'll be back soon anyway, but in the meantime, you guys stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.